Okay, everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. We're going to continue our series this week on some of my favorite things. Um, really enjoyed doing that segment last week, and I think it's kind of a fun way to sort of wrap up the year. So we'll continue with this My Favorite Things program through the next several weeks. I think what we're going to do probably between Christmas and New Year's, we're probably not going to do a regular show over those weekends, which I think will be the 23rd and the 30th, if I remember correctly. I think we'll do a year end live stream, and we're going to have some specific content for that. It's not just going to be everybody, hey, jump on board if you want, and we'll chit chat for a little bit. But we'll figure that out for sure. But that's kind of where we are on that. As you can imagine, as we are turning the calendar into the month of December, things have been very busy for me in my real job, and of course, things continue to get a little more hectic around here as we prepare for the child who now should be with us in less than 2 months. So everybody continue to keep our little fella in your thoughts, and he's certainly an active little guy, and so I suspect he will be the same once he joins us. He may actually appear on the show. Mom's a little camera shy, but hey, we may bring him on here in a couple of months and let you see and probably hear him. So today's my favorite things. I wanted to talk about some budget hotels in Las Vegas, and a little bit of this week's show is kind of going to overlap a little bit with last week's show because some of the properties I'm going to talk about are properties that I have stayed at multiple times and played at multiple times. And so they're properties that have involved some of my favorite casino bars as well, because I've simply spent a lot of time there. So, to get started today, I wanted to talk about the Luxor. Most people think about the Luxor, they think about the pyramid and the rather peculiarly shaped rooms in the pyramid, as well as the peculiar elevator, the inclinator, that sort of takes you up in this kind of stair step kind of fashion, which is a little creepy. I've never stayed in the pyramid myself, but I had some friends who did. And frankly, it's not my first choice if you're going to spend any time at the Luxor, if you're going to stay at the Luxor. Now, both of the towers are places that I've stayed before, and I like the tower rooms significantly better, particularly if you can get one of the new remodeled tower premier rooms. They have a refrigerator, they have like a little wet bar. They're very nice, and it is a property, it is a room that it is relatively easy to get comped if you play even a decent amount at the Luxor. So I definitely recommend staying in one of the tower rooms. They are a little bit of a hike from the casino and the registration area, but really not that bad, to be honest. And they are very nice. Also, you frequently able to get a very good deal on their one-bedroom suites. Some of those I think have also been remodeled. The ones that have not been remodeled are looking a little bit long in the tooth, but do offer a lot of room. And so you're not going to find a suite anywhere really in Vegas for much less than you'll pay there. The Luxor, like some of the other properties we're going to talk about today, does not lack amenities. You have a lot of restaurants there, although I don't think the Luxor is a place that I would look at and say, boy, there's just a lot of good places to eat there. But you're in the neighborhood of Mandalay Bay, Excalibur, MGM, New York, New York. All of those properties are very, very close by. And so the fact that there's not really a lot of great restaurants here is not a huge problem. There are a number of shows here, including the Blue Man Group, Carrot Top, Fantasy, if you're looking for one of those, traditional sort of topless Vegas shows, and more. I think they have the Titanic exhibit, the Bodies exhibit. So there's a lot to do here, and Luxor isn't a bad choice if you're, bringing a family to Las Vegas. I always tend to recommend the South Strip because I think it tends to be the most family friendly. The pool here is, not one of the best in Vegas, but it's a pretty good sized pool. It's also a pretty good property if you're here to see a game or an event at T-Mobile Arena, or in town for a football game at over at Allegiant Stadium. Both of those are very walkable from here. So again, my first property on my favorite budget properties in Las Vegas is the Luxor, and of course, as we mentioned last week, a lot of really good casino bars right there. All right, the number 2 property, and these are not really in some sort of ranked order, I'm just kind of going through them. Number 2, I would like to recommend the Horseshoe. And if you haven't been to Vegas for a while, Horseshoe is what used to be called, and was for many, many years, Bally's. They have done some renovations here, not really room renovations so much. I don't know if that's to come or not. But a lot of renovations in the casino area. They've added a big poker room there, and also done a lot with the sort of space in the back of the facility where you used to have the sports book, and the food court. There's actually a lot more things to do around there. Bally's also has a number of, or Bally's Horseshoe has a number of shows that you can check out, some smaller shows. My pick for my favorite sort of little show in Las Vegas, and go on Vegas.com, any of these sites, and look at the ratings, and they will agree with me. Definitely check out Paranormal, my favorite budget show in Las Vegas. Usually plays about 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes in the afternoon or early evenings. A great show. It will blow your mind. Again, some pretty good casino bars. I like the casino in general there. I tend to have pretty good luck. They have a lot of sort of older slots, it seems like. So there's a wide variety of things to play there. They have some good Keno games. Nobody on the Strip's got good video poker, so let's not pretend they do. But I've had pretty good luck here. And it's a great location. You know, you're right across the street from Bellagio, Cromwell, Caesar's Palace. It is the ideal address in Las Vegas. And the rooms here are large. Now, in all likelihood, you're going to get a room in what used to be the old Indigo Tower. I can't even remember what they call it anymore, but it's the main tower that kind of faces towards the back of the property. The other tower, what used to be the Jubilee Tower, it may still be in play at this point, but it's actually being moved from the auspices of Horseshoe over to Paris. So Paris, also another good choice, but typically runs a little bit more money-wise than Horseshoe. So there you go. They have a, again, not a great pool, but a pretty good sized pool. It's actually a pool you can swim in, because there's actually, I think there's a part of it's like 12 feet deep. So definitely a good pool if you actually want to go out and swim. But yeah, definitely recommend the old Bally's, the old MGM Grand, the Horseshoe. Definitely a place to check out, and definitely do recommend that. And again, you're so close to so many other properties that the lack of spectacular food options here, I wouldn't say there's anything mind-boggling here. There is a steakhouse there, I think Jack Benion's Steakhouse there, which I'm guessing is probably pretty good. And you're right there by one of the new Guy Fieri restaurants right there as you walk over towards Paris. So that's an option as well. Let's head downtown for our next option, and one that's been a good budget option for many years, but I think has just become a better property, period, while remaining a good budget option, and that is the Plaza, located right down on the west end of Fremont Street, right there at 1 Main Street. Used the old Union Plaza, because it used to have an actual train station in the back of the property. Not there anymore. Plaza has a decent pool area, I would say. They actually have tennis courts, as well as those kind of strange little pickleball things that they have. Also, from time to time, they get some shows here. In the showroom, they have live bingo. Actually, the only bingo place in Las Vegas I've ever checked out, and I did enjoy it. There's a number of inexpensive food options on site, including pin-up pizza and a big food court, as well as a number of other options. And of course, when you're downtown, it doesn't matter so much about your own hotel because you're so close to so many other choices there. But if you want like an upscale option, certainly Oscars on the second floor there is a wonderful steakhouse and definitely worth checking out. The rooms here are a mixed bag, but certainly if you can get one of the luxe rooms, which are the recently remodeled rooms at Plaza, I think you're going to enjoy those very much. I think the layout of those rooms, the design of those rooms is really nice. One of the best standard rooms you'll find anywhere in Las Vegas, and I mean, I'll stay with that. It's not as cheap as it used to be, but it's not as cheap as it used to be. So it's definitely, in my mind, worth checking out. You can get a good rate here. Again, you're right on Fremont Street. You're right next to Circa. If you want to check out the latest and greatest downtown property. And you're not going to pay the kind of fare that you would pay anywhere else. I like their little casino bar. And again, like I said, they have a showroom. They have a new lounge there called the Sand Dollar Lounge. They have an outdoor circular bar now. They have a donut shop. They have a big special area that is a Brian Christopher slot area that is a non-smoking sort of annex to the casino. So there's a lot to do there. And again, good price, definitely recommend it. And we go off strip a little bit, well, quite a bit actually. And we definitely had to mention one of my favorite casinos, one of the places that I've spent so many years, so many hours and days over the years, and that's the Orleans. Now it's located a couple of miles to the west of the strip area on Tropicana. There's not really a lot around there. There's kind of a pretty nice little sort of Irish bar across the street, but there's really not much else in the area. But the Orleans has everything you would want. There's a pretty large, though not spectacular, pool area. There's a movie theater, a bowling alley, and a huge casino, 5 casino bars, plenty of restaurant options, and typically it can be had for a very reasonable rate. So if you don't mind being a little off strip, the Orleans is a great choice, and they still run a shuttle that'll take you over to their sister property, the Gold Coast, which is also not a bad budget choice, and then onto the Strip as well. So definitely worth checking any of those properties out that you can. But like I said, I really like the Orleans, and again, it's not fancy. They're definitely at a point where the rooms could use a little refresh, but a good price and a good deal. And definitely worth it. I love the casino there. I think you will too. All right, we have to pick one more budget property, and I've been debating on which budget property to choose here, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Link. The rooms at the Link are a little small. The crowd at the Link can be a little rowdy, but I really like the location. It is, very well positioned for the mid-strip, certainly. You're right next door to Flamingo. I think the rooms here are more consistently clean and tidy than they are next door at the Flamingo. You get like a little mini fridge again. I like the design. There's a kind of a lively pool area, though it's pretty small. It's just a property that I think is kind of a fun take on Las Vegas, and one you don't always see. So if you don't mind, again, a smaller room. People complain about the elevators here, but there's like a secret bank that's not so secret, just right behind the main ones. It's usually not too bad. And, you have so many food and beverage choices in the Link Promenade, which not surprisingly is located right out your door. So definitely worth checking out. And of course you can get that, what do you call that little special drink they have at, there that everybody loves. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap that up for today. So again, to recap, some of my favorite budget properties in Las Vegas: Luxor, Horseshoe, Plaza, Orleans, and the Link. I think any of those properties can be a good property for you if you don't have a ton of cash, but you want a great Vegas experience. All right, we'll be back next Saturday with another episode of Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. We'll probably drop in at least one of our Vegas shorts this week. We'll get you another really good Vegas tip. And until then, I hope you have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We'll see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.